Welcome back. We are learning new developments regarding the Chiefs coming up this week. We heard from Kansas Senate President Ty Masterson that he has called a meeting of the Legislative Coordinating Council. That group has led the charge of bringing the Chiefs across state lines. That'll be on Monday in Topeka for that meeting. This all comes after an extension was given to the Chiefs and the Royals back in July of this year to reach an agreement to move across state lines. The committee stating that it was seeking an answer from the teams by January 1st of the new year. The extension the council approved also set the framework to cover 70% of the cost to build a new stadium should teams decide to relocate from Missouri to Kansas. And when a social media post from sports radio host Soren Petro, he reports that Chiefs officials are scheduled to be at Monday's meeting in Topeka. However, the Royals are not expected to be there, and barring something unusual happening, the expectation is that the Chiefs will be announcing their move to the state of Kansas. Now, while there are reports of the meeting being in regards to a new Chiefs stadium, Masterson did release a statement saying that while the Kansas City Royals location proposal continues to evolve, it will not be finalized or considered this year or the upcoming legislative session as well, meaning Monday's meeting will likely not include the Royals officials. We'll have coverage of the meeting on Monday in Topeka coming up on KWCH. Well, a northeast Wichita neighborhood has some questions. How did these blue pipes end up in their yards? They've been there for weeks now. That's when they reached out to Factfinder for answers. Factfinder investigator Kel Chapman has that answer.
For the last few weeks, Ken Woodard has been baffled by a mystery in his own front yard. What are these blue pipes and why are they here?
They've been here about the better part of 3 weeks. When they first came in to set them down, we thought, well, maybe they'll put them on the side of the street, then they put them in our yard, and didn't say a word, just put them there. And so, well, maybe they'll come back. We haven't seen them.
Ken and his neighbors say they never received any communication about what was going on before work started in their neighborhood.
Kind of like, well, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? We know it's a construction, but for what? Now I surmised that it was for water because they're blue, and they've been doing some work up the street.
And Ken uses a wheelchair, so the only way he can get out of his house is through his garage, right next to where the pipes are.
So it affects me personally because that's the only way I get outdoors is through our garage. If they're going to do anything, do it in a section so that I have a path out of there. They can't just block the whole driveway, or else I'm toast.
I found the answer. The city tells me this is part of a water main replacement on Old Manor, Parkwood, and Ridgewood. I also learned the contractor was supposed to tell neighbors what was going on. That didn't happen. In Wichita, Kel Chapman, 12 News.
And actually, shortly before our story aired, we heard from Ken. He says those water pipes have now been moved out of his yard. No word yet on when that project will be completed. And if you have a story, we want to hear from you. You can call us or email our investigators at the address and the number you see there on your screen. We'll look into interview issues for the next Factfinder Investigates.